Hello, everyone. My name is Wayne Kuhn, and I'm with the Recharge Group. And today I've invited Gary Jones to join me, and I thank Gary for taking time out of your busy schedule. I was intrigued by what Gary's passionate about, and that's young living. And Gary has a business that he's running from home, and I wanted to hear more about it because I think in this time of COVID-19, a lot of people are out of work and possibly could use another gig, call it that if I may, to generate a cash flow long term and maybe even short term. So thank you for joining me again, Gary Jones.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks.
I thought we'd start out by you sharing a little bit about, my background is real estate, and I saw some similarities between what you're doing and what I've gone through. And one of the things is our clients. Like, who would you say is a good candidate that you could approach to share your business with? And maybe tell a little bit about what Young Living is.
Sort of two different aspects there. One is who's a good candidate for the business. Right now, the home-based business industry is growing stronger than ever before. I saw one statistic where the month of March, when everything got shut down, there was a 33% growth in many companies. And It's interesting because the home-based industry right now is an alternative to a brick and mortar type career job. And what happens in the home-based business industry, there's different types. There's affiliate marketing, direct sales, network marketing, sometimes called the multi-level marketing. And what people do is they hear about a really hot product. Oh, this grows my hair. Not that you or I need that, Wayne, but different products. Say, oh, that's a good product. I can sell the heck out of that. And the reality is, in the industry, the ones who are leaders in the industry aren't the sales type. They're the people who are teachable, people who are interested in not necessarily quitting their job and doing this instead, but adding a second stream of income to what they do. So with what's happening in the world right now, all the economic uncertainty and such, the two biggest things are health, which Young Living is a health-based company, and also residual income or income possibilities. So I know a lot of people right now who, let's say, were massage therapists, waitresses, bartenders, worked in a hair salon or whatever, and they're scrambling. Luckily, the government's helping as best they can, but they're saying, what if this happens again in 3 or 4 years? So what we look at doing in the home-based business industry is letting people be their own boss, set up and make their own hours, and the head office of any network marketing company take care of the shipping and the tracking and all the invoicing. And if something's lost in the mail, they take care of it, which is very different than someone that has a widget they want to sell and they've got a bunch of stuff in the garage and they're doing direct sales in that way. So yeah, the industry is really interesting. What people don't understand is that it's not necessarily sales, although we call it direct sales. It's more of a coaching, mentorship type business where you want to get involved with a group that can actually help you set goals, help you handle objections, set some, maybe you've got some barriers or hiccups, with your mindset that need to be adjusted. So what you're looking at doing is not only finding an established company, and let me talk about established a bit. There are a few companies been brought to my attention lately. Their supply chain got cut off. Their products are like half, but a good chunk of their product lines are not available right now because the supply chain got stopped with all the airfare and such stopping. So you're looking at a company that's established in the sense that they have supply chain solid, that they have the management and the experience. Young Living I'm with is in their 26th year. We did $2 billion in sales last year. We shipped to, I think it's up to 230 countries now. We have 20 head offices and warehouses around the world. So you're looking at getting a company that's not necessarily in the startup into the adolescence where some hiccups could happen. But the person who's a candidate is a good question, Wayne. You're looking at somebody who's, their intuition is there must be more for me, a better quality of life. What would it be if an extra $400, $500, $600 a month is coming into our family budget? And then at that point, you have to say, hey, I don't know about this. And maybe they were in one or two other opportunities before it didn't do well, but they have to say, hey, I need to be coached. I need to put aside some perceptions I have and basically move ahead.
That's interesting. If I can throw you back, you mentioned training, setting people up in business. I think that's where a lot of, like in my business, a lot of realtors don't succeed because they haven't been plugged into a trainer, a coach, somebody to show them the business. You sound like a person that will take somebody under your wing. Am I correct?
Yeah, I guess you and I shared a Toastmaster experience where established clubs, you get in and you get assigned a mentor. And it's usually someone who's done, at least the first 10 speeches or better, who've been around, understand what all the jargon is, and understanding how to help people with their fears and phobias and some tips. They're not necessarily great. The mentor in Toastmasters isn't necessarily a great speaker themselves, but they're a great coach. I remember someone used an analogy one time from the Montreal Canadiens as Scotty Bowman's one of the most established coaches in the history of hockey, but he was just a so-so hockey player. So when you're looking at getting involved not only with the person who enrolls you, but what team are they part of? There's a lot of jargon. People talk about join your tribe, get a power team, whatever else. But yeah, you're looking at where are you going to get the most support. I happen to be in a cluster of people. Again, there's 6 million people a month that order from, and there's different approaches. The group I'm with have two of the strongest mentors in the industry, Richard and Kidney Brook. They speaker at many network marketing conventions, women empowerment conferences. They've spoken to large groups of people and are very established in the industry. And they're there for myself and my team, sort of free of charge. Just they're doing the training that other people would pay for. So yeah, you're looking at people don't know what to ask when they're joining a business. I think I've said this in some other podcasts I'm part of. Wayne, if you and I went to the franchise show and we had $250,000 each to buy a franchise, lawyers would check out the company, we'd be going to other franchises and ask them how happy they are. We really do our due diligence, but when you can join a company from $200, $400, $800, whatever, people just say, hey, I'll throw up my Visa card and see where it goes. I encourage people to do not only the due diligence on the company they're exploring, actually look at other companies too. Look at 4 or 5 companies and say, okay, now this is the one that excites me, and then interview the person who invited you and just see if they're the right person, right fit. I think most of the failures in the industry come from people where there's a mismatch. You have a certain learning style, and yet the people above you are acting more like your boss than your coach. So yeah, it's an interesting industry. It's huge, and with the lockdowns and everything happening environmentally, it's gone well. Our company were 38 or 40% growth in March, biggest March in the 26-year company history. And I know lots of people who I talked to a year or 2 years ago. My own business went up considerably in the last 90 days because people I've talked to before are starting to say, well, tell me that again, Gary. I wasn't discontent before, but now my level of discontent is such that, I think I need to look at this.
Well, yeah, no, that sounds great. And it just dawned on me, and I just put out a book, It's Time to Recharge. And in there, I talk about being a cheerleader and talking about a mismatch or a match of people. Like I find if you can find a cheerleader, somebody that's there to root you on and maybe give you a little push once in a while, that makes like a lot, that means a lot to the success or to your success to moving forward. And you sound like you are a real cheerleader for some people. Am I reading you right?
Yes, but there's a lot of people who are really buy into the whole rah-rah. We're going to build this, we're going to rank advance, and let's go to convention. But I think a coach also can hold you accountable when you're not performing, or if
Correct.
some issues holding you back. I love the Toastmaster, evaluation every speech you and I would be familiar with. And actually, Toastmasters, when I go to convention, last time I went, it was 40,000 people. I had a lot of people I met in the course of conversation had a Toastmaster experience. So really, the transferable skills from giving feedback and setting goals and rank advancing, it's so transferable from our background to that. But a good coach could say, hey, you did this really well. I like the way you opened, blah, blah, blah. But here's a point to grow. And then finally, with a positive, that sandwich approach. And people who know how to give feedback to their kids, to their coworkers, to if you're a coach of a local soccer team or something like that, they're the ones that develop winners, not just someone saying, hey, good for you, high five. You know, you need a balance. You need the right feedback, and not just the rah-rah stuff.
Yeah, no, you've got an excellent point, because sometimes, and I've been guilty of that too, is I go away for the weekend and you come back all pumped up. You're going to take on the world, write new goals and everything. And by Tuesday, you're kind of like, oh, I got to go mow the lawn, like that whole, it's like the air is out of your balloon, and that's where, you need a system, you need something to plug into. So I wrote a question here about your products. Now, one thing in real estate, like I sell houses because everybody has to live somewhere. And I always thought that was a good match. Now, your product is very similar. Tell us a little bit about the products.
Well, when people who've heard the word essential oils, Young Living essential oils particularly, they come to a conclusion it's these cutesy kind of smelly things that make your house smell nice. And that was 3.5 years ago. I didn't know anything about this. And I was, when I got involved with Young Living, I didn't know they had a whole line of non-toxic cleaners. Recently,
Oh, wow.
2 years ago now, they launched a whole line of makeup for women that's non-toxic. And I was shocked to find out how many chemicals people put on their body, especially women getting up in the morning, their shampoos, deodorants, the guys too. If anybody is on Netflix, I highly recommend you watch a documentary on Netflix, and it's available on another medium too, but it's called Stink, like the bad smell, S-T-I-N-K, S-T-I-N-K, and it talks about a fellow who lost his wife to cancer. He's raising 2 little girls, and he starts wondering why all this crap is in their food and their shampoo and their clothes. And he goes into lobby groups and annual meetings, and really a deep dive into the chemicals in our body. So Young Living's mandate is healthy, toxic-free living, and also an opportunity to put some coin in your pocket too. But we have a whole line of products for children, infants. We have a whole line of supplements, which I could talk for hours about. We have a great energy kind of plant-based drink that basically is a big seller within our company. Matter of fact, of the $2 billion in sales, I think 40% of it was a Ninja Red wine. And people just think, well, what's that got to do with essential oils? And the longer explanation to get into that. But when people want to look at that, it's what we call transferable buying, ditch and switch, get rid of the toxic products in your house and move over. There's a free app on people's phones that's not Young Living, it's a generic third party.
Okay.
Think Dirty. Think Dirty, go to the app store, and it's not like it sounds, but it's basically the dirty stuff that we find in our supplements. So if you go to the local grocery store and you're picking up your shampoos and your deodorants and your dish soap and your laundry soap and a whole barrage of things of that nature, you can scan it with that app, the barcode, and see if it's on their database, and they have it.
Okay.
And it will tell you how carcinogenic things are between 0 and 10. When I got involved with Young Living and learned about that app, everything in our house was 8 or higher out of 10 on carcinogenic scale. We have a history of that in our immediate family. So got rid of all the toxic stuff and switched it to Young Living. The interesting thing, Wayne, that people don't get with the network marketing world, let's say someone's making $50 a week, $200 a month. That money, which wouldn't have been from your core budget or your job or your pensions or whatever, that found money pays for your next month order. So it takes stress off your core budget and basically get it for free. And a lot of stuff that we do, if you don't have a home-based business, you're missing out on tax breaks. We're allowed to write off in Canada 50% of the products we do, because we should be promoting the products and living the same lifestyle. So there's all kinds of tax breaks involved too. So if you had 2 twins, Bob and Fred, and Bob did his book and Fred did the same, and one had a home-based business and the other didn't, that's the kind of coaching and mentoring people need, is understand the bigger picture.
No, that's awesome. I had never even thought of that. There's a whole business management, financial management with taxes and that behind the scenes of just doing the business. And I think you've got something there that will appeal to a lot of people, because a lot of people would like to have their own business, like to do their own thing. They would like to be able to control their own destiny, and might just have something that we can share with people through Young Living. So just to wrap it up a bit, Young Living is local. You're in Cambridge, I believe, Gary. And
I'm in
so,
Cambridge, but I have teammates in Texas. Someone the other day just from Ireland, I think, joined our group. People in BC, Quebec. I have people who speak English, people who French. It's really, when you say it's local, it's a global company, and a lot of people know BK and some other brand names. We're in the top 10 internationally in sales out there. So we have those offices I referred to and such. And I think it's really important to know that when people are looking at getting involved, there's no expectation to sell to your friends. You don't have to buy it wholesale and sell it retail. There's a whole different mechanism. Everyone on my team, as it grows, they sign up for free in Canada. It's a small marketing fee in the States. It's different from country to country with our laws. But they sign up for free and they start shopping off their own site. So everyone's buying at wholesale. It's like a wholesale buying club. So people don't have to panic about, oh, I got to call my cousin up and my friend. That's the coaching and mentoring there. It's explaining some of the misconceptions people have about having a home-based business and the pros and cons, the benefits of those tax breaks and the secondary income. I know a lot of people who said to me, Wayne, I wish I started this 5 years ago.
oh.
I wouldn't care if my core job disappeared or was on hold. It's a whole different mindset.
Wow, we can't leave without telling me about Hawaii. Like, what? That, talk about a carrot, eh?
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. The network marketing industry are really big on recognition, and I'm sure the real estate industry is the same. You get all kinds of awards and titles and trophies and all kinds of stuff. I was fortunate enough, had a really good period last year where the team was growing exponentially and things were just in the zone and flowing a year ago. And they had a competition within Young Living for, if someone signed up, you got a point. If they buy the starter kit, you got 3 more points. A whole bunch of rules like that.
Yeah.
There were 79,000 people on the leaderboard for the North American competition, and the top 250 won a trip for 2 to Hawaii. I came in at 122, if I'm not mistaken, and I was one of 25 Canadians that got flown full expenses to the Big Island, and we got to see luau's and whale watching and the airfare paid. I got picked up. Wait, you know me. I got picked up at the airport. And I felt like it was Brad Pitt. They had Mr. Jones. They had a sign. I got in a limo and they drove me to the resort. I thought, oh wow, it doesn't get better than this.
Oh no! Well, I had to bring that up because sometimes we think, oh, Gary's got this little business in Cambridge, and then I go, no, Gary's going to Hawaii. What? What for?
And I scored some points with my wife when I announced that I was one of the winners. That came in very handy. But
I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii with you. Yeah.
Well, let's do that. Let's work this time next year. If we're not in lockdown, still you and me and the missus, we'll go.
Oh, that's good.
I just want to be clear. I mean, there's people in our industry. There's a fellow I work with out of BC. He's 30 years old, and I'm throwing big numbers around, but he's making $200,000 US a month. It took him 8-9 years to get there, but it's achievable. And I know lots of people in our industry are doing that. More importantly, I know a lot of people, they say $300 or so a month would save you from bankruptcy. And from your housing industry and real estate, if someone could throw an extra $300 a month on a mortgage every month, like, huge. So
Yes.
we really coach people how to make the lower end money, the $300 to $400 a month and growing. But when they bring people in, they want to make 300 or 400. Who bring people in and it pushes up the numbers, and that's where you get these lifestyle changing kind of numbers in the industry. And Young Living, I mean, like I said, we did $2 billion in sales last year, so I think they're cutting some pretty nice paychecks out to people on a monthly basis.
Good. Well, thank you, Gary. I'm just going to wrap it up by saying that. It's people like you that recharge our world, that recharge lives out there by bringing financial gain to other people and bringing a quality of life through health and through whatever makes life a more positive space to live in. And that's why I wanted to get you on, because you're a cheerleader for many people. Many people follow you and respect what you're doing. And so I hope I can push this out and we can help a few other people out there just recharge their life so that they're living, better quality and a more positive, productive, and creative life. So how can people get a hold of you, Gary?
You know something, I'm old school. And when I started in this industry 30 plus years ago, I've been involved off and on after I worked for the ministry, government agencies and things I did my career. I just pick up the phone and call me. I mean, everyone's got this Twitter, got this, got that, but it's 519-716-3592 to start the conversation. But then I have a better feeling to direct you to a website or to a video or something like that. I can actually get a good assessment where you're starting at, and love meeting people. Actually, since March, I'd say most of the new contacts I've made, Wayne, are not necessarily my immediate contact, but someone like yourself said, call Gary. And they say, hey, Kuhn said to call. So I'm getting a lot of second level kind of referrals coming in by phone and a lot of friend requests on Facebook. Because the name Gary Jones is common, I use my middle initial, Gary S. Jones.
Okay,
Gary
good.
R. So if they just send me a friend request there or just call or text me at 519-716-3592, that's a starting point just to see where we go with this. And, sometimes it's very obvious that it's the wrong place time, but most of the times I'll even refer out to someone else if I feel they're better supported in another direction of some sort. But I've had a lot of people help me, Wayne, when I started out. And every time I said, how do I help you? They just said, pay it forward. So that's what it's all about now. Just
good. Awesome.
Conversation, see where it goes.
That's perfect, Gary. Thank you again for letting, coming into my forum and letting me talk to you about the Young Living. And I'm going to push it out on Facebook, and I'll tag you. And
thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I'm part of a team that are just there and helping other people succeed, not at our own expense. But I've got 30 years of business background, home-based business background, to just help as best I can and see where it goes.
Good. Okay, you have a great day, and we'll talk again real soon.
Thanks, Wayne.
Bye-bye.